Hey kids, it's Englentine here with another batch of Marvel vs. DC comics. And we got a lot of Batman this time around. Batman the Shadow, All-Star Batman, Detective. There's a surprisingly bad book from DC Comics and a surprisingly good book from Marvel Comics. A lot to be seen here. So kick back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. The one-star books are the worst of the worst, the ones you should definitely avoid. Captain America number 19. So basically it's a whole issue of Captain America pontificating. You know, oh well, I was this symbol of freedom, but you know what's better? Hydra. That kind of thing. And it really, this is the issue that I was expecting from Nick Spencer. This is the whole, if you don't agree with me, you're crap issue. Not only that, it's if you don't agree with the way that Marvel Comics has been going, your crap issue as well. As he sits down with Thor for a little bit, basically tells him his hammer's sitting there if he wants to come get and challenge him. And what's cringeworthy as hell is Thor saying, Thor's not my name. Well, I don't know if that was the voice he was using, but that's the voice I heard in my head when he was saying it. I mean, basically, this is a dump over anybody who cares for the legacy of Jack Kirby and Marvel Comics. Secret Empire number 7. Now, I did a full-length video on this, and I really recommend you check that out. It goes in a lot of depth as far as what's wrong with this book, and there's a lot wrong with this book. More than you can do in a minute that I allow for these kind of reviews. I mean, you can start with the fact that the coloring is still horrible, and if you look right here, you will notice in the credits there is no colorist. I always like to joke that Alan Smith did it. They just took their name off of it and refused to get credit for the crappy job they do. Also, it isn't like they would be coloring decent art because the art has sucked consistently. At least they're consistent. You can say that. The book is consistent. Secret Empire has consistently sucked. Spider-Man runs away, yet Miles Morales beats Captain America in just a few panels. There's a shit fight with Punisher. I mean, this book is just a whole lot of bad. The 2-star books are merely bad with some saving grace keeping them from being truly horrible. Iceman number 3 has Bobby Drake going home to see his family. And in every turn, Bobby Drake is jumping down his family's throat. He's waiting for them to be racist, or not a racist. He's waiting for them to be homophobic or actually racist because of his mutant gene. And in doing so, he attacks them for every little bit. It's almost like what's going on now with Antifa and the fact that they think everything is going to lead to the death of millions of people. So they got to kill everybody who thinks the way that people who did that did. And I can't mention those words, and I'm dancing around them because if I don't, then this will be demonetized. Anywho, that's one of the big problems of this story is that it's writing a character that wants you to feel something for him, but he's acting in the ways that he expects everybody around him to act. And in the end, it's just not a lot of fun. Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur number 21 just makes me wonder how it's at issue 21 when better books get canceled at issue number 6. You know, I mean, this book is even selling crap. So there's no excuse for it, really. First of all, this cover is excellent. And I also like the art inside. For the kind of book this is supposed to be, it really is fun. However, it doesn't go far enough into the kind of book it's supposed to be. Instead, we get an insufferable little girl, and in this case, meeting up with an insufferable version of herself from another world. And it's just a horrible comic book to have to sit through. I've got a great idea for Moon Girl, and I said this before and never actually did, but yeah, there's an If I Wrote coming for her. Because this book should be so much better than it is. It should be written so much better, and the characters should be so much better. But unfortunately, what we got is this, and this is insufferable. Occupy Avengers number 9. Finally, the Occupy Avengers, whatever that means, gets into the battle. It's all you know what, they should have just left him out of this. Seriously. Wrote the story, it ends now, so, you know, just let them gracefully bow out of the Secret Empire. But every title has to tie in somehow so they can sell an issue or two. And it's so awkward. Hawkeye leaves, of course, because we know he's in the Secret Empire story. So this takes place before all of it, I guess, or at the beginning. So, they had to wrap up their story. It's just so clumsy to fit him in at this point. And that's what the story comes off as. It's a clumsy, hey, let's rally this town into attacking the Hydra agents and such. So overall, this is a useless book. Wonder Woman number 27. What can be said about this? It's complete filler. Not much goes on here. It's not the best issue of Wonder Woman I've ever read. The art is okay. So anyway, it starts off, there's a to-do, and Etta gets stabbed, and Wonder Woman rushes her to the hospital, where there's a doctor that decides she wants to put some of Wonder Woman's blood into her, so she knocks out Wonder Woman using some sort of Amazonian tranquilizer. Her words, not mine. The process goes through. She gets Wonder Woman's strength and speed, and they fight in the hospital. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole story. And it's just about as exciting as I described it. I'm sorry, but I thought this was a silly issue. It wasn't as good as the other books I've read from this series. The 3-star books are merely average. You might like them, you might hate them. For us, it just didn't move the needle. Action Comics number 984. Last chapter of Revenge, where all the Supermans face off against the Revenge Squad. But in this case, all the Supermans are in the Phantom Zone, where it's all blue. Seriously, it really is. But it's okay. I mean, it's a decent book. I guess it's not bad for a last chapter. However, in order for a lot of stuff to happen, they have to depower some and increase power on others. And I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, overall, I like the story Revenge. As a last chapter, it just kind of, it just falls flat. It's not bad. It's not good. It's in the average. The art is good. I gotta give it that. But overall, I don't know. It has an ending where I'm thinking, don't let him go. Chase after him. End it. All-Star Batman number 12. So the First Ally continues. This is more of a story about Alfred than Bruce Wayne. We get a lot of his past. A lot of where he's come from and such. And that's not a bad story. I mean, this isn't the best issue I've ever read of All-Star Batman or Batman. It starts off where I guess the last issue left off with a ship sinking and he's got to get out. And it's a pretty good trap to put him in, as a matter of fact. And I like the clever way they got him out of it. So, and I like any story that shows Batman's brains as much as brawn. Not really sure where the mermaid fit in this panel here, this scene. But there they are. Anywho, yeah, it's a good story. It's got some great art. But once again, like I said, it doesn't really thrill as much as I would hope it would. Captain America number 24. If there was a book on this list, in this video, that I am sad that I did not review when it was out the first time, it's this one. And it's not just because it's bad. It's as far as Nick Spencer, Sam Wilson books, it's not the worst I've read. Number 25 was pretty damn bad. What gets me is in this whole thing where Nick Spencer wants to chastise the country for voting for Donald Trump, he sometimes makes arguments for the politics he says he's against, and I know he does this unwittingly. And here he gives this kid, I used to know his name, and for some reason it's escaping me, but anyway, he gives a speech to Sam Wilson that is basically saying that while he's saying he should be picking up the Captain America suit, what he's really saying is he should go dress like the Falcon, because it would show his individuality. It would show that we do not need the symbols that we have been following to be free Americans, that we can find that in other things. And by putting on the costume of Captain America, it kind of washes that away. Nick Spencer wrote a decent speech for this, and it should have been that. But unfortunately, by putting on the Captain America outfit, it just kind of washes away all that good from it. And it says, yeah, but I'm going to put on the symbol anyway. I Am Groot number 3. Now, I am not entirely sure if I'm giving different reviews to each issue because they're all basically the same, and I don't see it changing, and that is, it's not bad. It really isn't. And it's kind of very... I know I've used this review on other books, but Wonderlandish. He's meeting different characters and going on an adventure, but the problem with doing a Groot book is it can't be about Groot. His entire vocabulary is I am Groot, and what we get out of that is the reactions of other people. So any book you make about Groot ends up being about the people around him, and in this case, they separated him from the Guardians and have given him to people that, one, we don't know, two, isn't really going to matter after the story's over because he'll be back with the Guardians. So, three, that makes this book inconsequential even if it is enjoyable. So, Scarlet Spider number 5 is basically 21 pages of the Kane and Ben Reilly beating each other up, with occasional sidestep to some woman and guy going into a place called the Forbidden City. They think inside the Forbidden City, they think it's all Japanese, but as it's pointed out, Forbidden City's in China. And then the lady says, hey, I studied in the Forbidden City. No, you didn't. No. It's a tourist trap. Okay? Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It's a tourist trap. You don't learn Kung Fu in the Forbidden City anymore. That being said, the book is basically one long fight scene that has characterization in it, and that's not a bad thing. Unfortunately, towards the end of the fight, they just talk it out, which, why didn't you just do that at the beginning of the fight? So it's a bit anticlimactic, even if it's decent the rest of the way through. Weapon X number 6. So raise your hand if you're ready for the Weapons of Mutant Destruction storyline to be over with. I know I am. In this one, the Hulk and the Weapon X program that, basically Wolverine, Sabretooth, Domino, and Lady Deathstrike. Remember when Marvel had villains? What the hell is Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike hanging around with them? Just doesn't... Okay, anyway, that's another story. This one is... it's not bad. It has decent art. The story actually isn't bad, even though I'm over it already and I'm just ready to get to the ending. And this is what leads to it. And it's done stupidly. The genius Hulk decides to go off on his own and do his own thing and ends up missing the deadline that he was supposed to stop the Wolverine Hulk from getting created. And, of course, it does. We have to have a next issue because you can't just end this damn story. Overall, it's there. So, The 4-star books are good. These are the stories and comics we can actually recommend. Cable number 3. So this is a series that's looking for an audience, and I don't know if it's finding it. I don't know why it's finding it. But the thing is it's one of the few books out there, especially in Marvel, that actually has sequential art. Especially in Marvel. Marvel is horrible for this. They have a lot of books that are just pose pages. In everything. Especially look at like Captain Marvel or Secret Empire. There's hardly any sequential. You cannot read the book without the dialogue and know what's going on. This, however, you can follow it perfectly. Seriously, if you just page through and you're looking at everything, you can get the story without reading the dialogue. But considering it's James Robinson writing it, it's icing on the cake. This is a good, solid book. I think it's one of the more underappreciated books that Marvel is putting out at this moment. DC Superhero Girls, Out of the Bottle, Chapter 8. So the story continues. The DC Superhero Girls are still trying to round up all of their pixie counterparts that came from the magical art books and coloring. All the while, we see Miss June Moon turn into the Enchantress, and the hero girls chase the pixies into a shop where just so happens that the Black Canary is working, and they find out that the pixies are susceptible to sound, so she helps them round everybody up, along with Wonder Woman and the, Killer Bee? What's her name? I forgot her name. Anyway, and they round up the Wonder Womans by using the magic lasso. So it's a fun book. I keep saying this over and over. It's entertaining. It's colorful. It's something that I think little girls would enjoy. And in fact, I'm not a little girl and I enjoy the story. It's like I said, it's fun. Detective Comics 961, the continuing of Intelligence. This is a bit of a mixed bag. It's very wordy, but it does have some great action scenes in it. Yeah, I like the beginning parts with Zatanna and Bruce and finding out about their relationship when they were younger. That's very good. I mean, it really is kind of old-fashioned storytelling in this one. The action scenes, we have Batwoman and Cassandra Cain fighting Azrael. Then you have the downside, which is basically all the techno jargon that happens at the end of the book about the new Azrael suit. But the high point is Jean-Paul Valley and the Azrael system talking and fighting in his mind. I just thought that was brilliant. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag, but it is a pretty good book. Hellblazer number 12, The Smokeless Fire. So this kid shows up at a restaurant with John Constantine there, and he's got a book that John Constantine's been looking for. Now, basically it's talk. It's John Constantine trying to explain why he's trustworthy and why the book should go to him. But there's something weird about this book. Just generally, the Hellblazer anyway, is that it's the only book that can make dialogue feel like it's action. But I guess that's the character itself. John Constantine should never be an action star. He's a swindler, a con artist of sorts, far beyond his first appearances, by the way, if you've ever seen those. And that's what really makes this book, and this book is filled with that. Really good story, great place to start if you want to find out who John Constantine really is. Injustice 2 Chapter 16 is a ton of fun. I enjoy these chapters, and that's how I get them. I get them every week or every 2 weeks for 99 cents. And so they're a good time. You gotta like it. Anyway, this has to do with how Batman basically recruited Plastic Man and his son. And it's done very well. It's drawn well. I love the coloring in these books as well. And one of the best parts is Batman shows up and Plastic Man's son's like, yikes, and runs away. And hides, basically, because he can shapeshift. So Batman's walking around the apartment. Oh, you're the chair. Oh, you're the garbage can, as he's trying to get away from him. It's a fun scene. It's funny, and it's done very well. So far, I've liked Injustice 2. And, I highly recommend it. Check it out when you get a chance. Thanos number 9. Now, I have praised this series in the past. I think it's just one of those that it's on the outskirts, doesn't get a lot of attention, but definitely deserves it. The art has depth to it. It's good. The covers are always good. The story is tight. In this one, you have Thanos and Eros going to visit the Fates, the three witches, to find out how Thanos can get his cosmic power back. And for some reason, Eros thinks this is a good idea. Now, once they get there, of course, things go awry as they do. Eros is definitely not treated well, as you can see right here. In the meantime, Thane finds Thanos' helmet and decides that he's going to take his place as King Evil of the universe. So I am very interested in seeing what's going to happen next. The Flash number 27, the end of Running Scared, and it's intense. This was good. DC's kicking ass this time around. They got some good books. So basically, Eobard Thawne finally, the Reverse Flash finally just pushes Flash over the limit. And it's kind of pathetic, the way he's talking about him, the way he always wanted to be Flash, always wanted to be around him, and that's why he became his bad guy, because that's the only time Flash spends time with him, shows him attention. It's amazing the fact that there is hardly a panel without action in it, yet it loses no characterization. That's a hard balancing act to pull off. And in the end, it makes the book a lot stronger for it. The Unbelievable Gwenpool number 18. So, wow, this is, I think, the first Unbelievable Gwenpool I've read, you know, especially since me and Jack separated the Marvel Universe. So I was lost, but had fun with it. So it is, they're stuck in a comic book, apparently. And they don't know this. I just spoiled the shit out of it if you haven't read it yet. But yeah, they're stuck in a comic book, and they're finding out that their lives are not what they think, because they don't know they're in a comic book yet. And yeah, like I said, even though I was lost, I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, I was able to pick up on the fact that they weren't out of this comic book they said they were in. It's a very simple but very entertaining story. I was surprised at this. You know, find yourself a writer who likes to write comic books, and boom, you've got yourself a decent book. And the 5-star books are the best of the best, the ones we highly recommend for the week. Batman and the Shadow number 4. And let me tell you straight up, before we get all started, if you're not reading Batman and the Shadow, you are doing it wrong. Now, granted, it's issue 4, so at this point, maybe you're thinking, well, I'll pick up the trade, and it would definitely be a smart move if you picked up the trade if you're not going to pick up the individual issues. Look at this cover. This is the best cover of the week for DC, hands down. I want this as a poster. It's so good. I mean, that is a really sharp picture. But that's the way it's been. I mean, it's had some great covers, and there's some great art on the inside as well. One thing I really do like about the art is that there's a haze to the coloring that gives it a question as to when it's taking place. So it really gives it a timeless feel and fits the 40s and modern day setting that both heroes are very well known for. Overall, yeah, this is an excellent book. Pick it up. So there you go, kids. One big bunch of Marvel vs. DC comic book reviews. And let's tally up the numbers and see how badly DC kicked Marvel's ass. Marvel Comics had 2 1-stars, 3 2-stars, 4 3-stars, 3 4-stars, a total of 12 comics reviewed with a score of 32 and an average score of 2.67. DC, on the other hand, had 0 1s, 1 2, 2 3s, 5 4s, and 1 5. Total comics 9 and a score of 33, making the average 3.67. Of course they kicked Marvel's ass. And maybe I would feel bad about it if I haven't talked to some of the artists, writers, and even editors to find out that this seems to be the direction they want to go. No, I'm not the audience anymore, I guess, and according to the comments, neither are many of you. But anyway, what did you think of the reviews? Was I right on some? Was I wrong on some? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, you want to see more, click like, share, and subscribe to see more. Don't forget to head on over to the Patreon or VidMe page. Drop $1 in the till. Help us out, because we certainly could use it, and we certainly would appreciate it. Also, we're very grateful to everybody for watching and listening to us. And I know some of you guys just listen to it in the car or something like that, and that's cool. But either way, guys, thank you very, very much for watching.
The Penguin and his 10 goons are plotting in a back room. Pow, crash, boom, bam, in leaps the Batman, making life safe again for all the Gotham citizens. He's so bitchin', he's so brave, it's back to the Batcave.